Hey, what's up, BKFC Reddit? We're back with another Ask Me Anything. We got Chachi Versace. He's making his second debut for BKFC Amateur Prospects 2. How's it going, bud?
Going great, buddy. How are you?
I'm great. So we didn't get to see Prospects 1. Like, how was that show? Like, how'd you do? Like, what's going on?
It was an awesome show. I noticed the last time they did it in a ring in a small arena, and that debut was in the BKFC ring, and it was I forget where we were now, but it was the whole BKFC setup. So it
Okay.
was it was just amazing to be there in general.
Yeah, so we're good friends with Big Ben, the ring guy. I remember him saying that he had to go set it up, and he's like it's cool for these dudes who are amateurs. They get to actually fight in the official ring, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Um,
It's hard to contain
yeah.
my joy just being there, bro. Honestly.
Okay, so this will be your second fight. I talked to a guy who just debuted at Utah, and he was talking about the adrenaline dump because like it's such a crazy event that he said his next fight, like knowing what to expect, he expects it to go even more phenomenal. For you, this will be your second one. So like, do you feel like an old vet now? So like you know what to expect, or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
do you know anything about your upcoming opponent?
Um, I'm familiar with the people he trains with. I know he trains with some good people.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I get complimented though a lot on my certain things that I feel will mesh well with that guy. I think we'll have a good.
Good. Yeah, I know like Russ over Extreme. He went live during you guys' last one. So like I said, it's one of those things I feel like you guys are the future of the sport. You're young people looking to make a name for yourself, and you absolutely are the future of the sport. And I really wish they would like showcase you guys because I think it'd be phenomenal to watch you from step one to making it to BKFC. Like
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on in it, but I do feel like they have a plan of a way to showcase us. They do record things. None of it's obviously been put out, but I feel like they hopefully have a plan of what to do with that.
okay, so for those of you who don't know, like how would you describe your fighting style? Like what do you prefer? Like are you a boxer, like an MMA guy, or
So I'm kind of a street brawler, man. I grew up. I was a good kid with a good family and everything, just hanging out with the wrong kids, and I would fight. And growing up until I was probably, I don't know, 20 something years old, man. I grew out of that phase, but I loved it. I like to be the small guy that's looked at as like the underdog, I guess. But yeah, just a street brawler, man. I like boxing. I'm not
okay?
too MMA. I did do a couple MMA fights just to I want to show I'm comfortable in
Yeah.
my where I'm going, even if I'm technically uncomfortable.
Okay, so we've asked this to other fighters. Do you remember your first street fight and how it went down?
My first street fight, does a school fight count as a street
Yep,
fight?
school. Yeah, and any your first like physical like punch a dude in the face altercation.
So I do remember I was in the third grade and this kid, I was throwing a ball with this girl and this
Yeah.
little blonde that had like hair like this in the front. He comes over and starts throwing the ball with her and I got mad. And I don't remember like the altercation part, but I remember grabbing him by that little blonde, just punching him in the face, and there was blood. And I do remember.
So you don't have to say the kid's name, but you still remember his name.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Usually, it's one of those things. Like I still remember the very first like couple kids that I got in Street Fighter. Like their name and their face is just like engraved and blazoned in my head.
It was probably a real blonde kid hair name, like Steven, I think it
Like Kyle or something. Like
was.
okay. So I see motorcycles is like super important to you. Like what? How did you get into motorcycles? What kind of bike do you have now? Like
No bikes right now,
okay,
but um, I was in the bike community, still am in the bike community, I guess. But just adrenaline, I guess. Getting
yeah.
on my Harley and taking off, man, is a little different, than a fast car. Even it's just wind in your hair, adrenaline pumping. I'm a motorcycle mechanic, but it's
Okay.
kind of, I love the people in the biker community. Obviously, I've got a lot of sponsors. The majority of them are in the bike community. And they're just great people, man. They always got your back, better than a lot of band of brothers, you know, other than my gym. My gym's pretty tight knit too, but it's like that relationship with your brothers and sisters, even in the bike community.
So you mentioned sponsors. You have more sponsors as an amateur than there's guys that that are on the main event cards. Like holy crap, I was looking it up. Like you are loaded with sponsors. How did you work that out? Like how did that all come to fruition?
Well, you know, like I said, I'm a people person, man, and I give my sponsors, not all of them all the time that you see are paid sponsors. I like
Sure.
to. I'm really trying to change the game. I want to do more things for sponsors rather than just, hey, give me your money and I'll post you out a couple times on Facebook or whatever. Um, but I approach them as like a promotional thing. Like you promote me and I'll promote you.
Hmm.
And I get to this fight or that fight or if I just need some gear, you pay for my gear. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm not a rich guy. The money definitely helps, especially you want to try to make it big time, man. You got to spend a lot of time in the gym, take some time off work. But I do have some great sponsors. All of them are great sponsors, but some that really help me get by with those tight spots for bills and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I saw when you were younger, you were a military guy. Like, are you? Is that still really important to you, or?
Yeah, of course. It never goes away, man. That mentality, when you go away from home and you get thrown into the drill, you know, it becomes a habit after a while. Even after you leave, I've got certain habits.
Yeah.
My friend and I, we do a lot of things with military. He's a Marine, and it's probably part of my everyday life. Something going on.
I saw you were doing like a toy drive recently. So like it looks like giving back to the community is like super important to you.
Yeah, man. So I used to be, I wouldn't say not such a great guy, but I lived irresponsibly. I
Okay.
was driving, riding my motorcycles and drinking, and getting in bar fights and the street fights and stuff. A traumatic experience with my daughter kind of changed my life. And not that I didn't do certain things like that before, but now it's even more so. And I want to spread more positivity and keep changing my life for the better, man. And hopefully those things create some good karma for my life too.
Okay, so you mentioned your daughter, and I was reading an article about you, and it seems like being a father is super important. And like, would you go ahead and would you care to like get into like? I know your daughter had some health issues when she was younger, so like, could you go into that and how that like helped change you into being like the super stand up guy you are now?
Yeah, so she's had a ton of surgery since the moment she was born. Um, and to summarize, she had a 20-minute long seizure right in
Oh
front of my,
wow,
and in that moment, it like changed my perspective of a lot of things, like of toughness, of what love is, like what how valuable life is, and all these different things. I might get emotional, but
I understand.
uh, I never had anything traumatic, I guess, happen to me. People died in front of me and different things, but nothing like that. And for 20 minutes, for my infant baby to be having a seizure, and there was nothing I can do to help her.
Right.
Um, it was just life changing, bro. There's no other way to explain it. But I had a real crappy job at the time with a boss that I hated, treated me like crap. I was like, I'm never doing anything I hate ever again. Like,
Absolutely.
uh, deep down, I've always had a passion for fighting, and I never pursued it really. So I was like, you know what? And I'm not real religious or anything, but in some way in my head, I was like, okay, she's fighting for her. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna fight now. Like, she was so tough, bro, and like 2.5 years of time spent in the hospital that I was by her side. I seen her go through a lot, needle pokes, and
Sure.
there comes a point where she's old enough and she realizes it and hates it, and the fight transferred over to me, man. So
So is she 2.5 now, or is she older now?
she's 4 now.
She's 4. So has she got to see you fight? Like, have you like do you take her to the fights or?
Yeah, she's only made one fight so far, but she loves it. She's daddy's
Awesome.
fan. She loves the BKFC girls. A couple of them. Shout out Jenny Savage. They've given me personally posters and signed pictures and stuff to give to my daughter. Since she was in the hospital, also, while I was there, living there basically with her, I'm laying in the hospital bed and I'm watching the BKFC fights in the bed with her.
Yeah.
So since she was already developing her little personality, that was like intertwining into it. You know what I'm saying?
Does she like to hit mitts? Do you ever hold up your hands and she practice throwing punches and stuff, or is that something she's not into yet?
Yeah, she likes that. Yep, she
That's
likes
cool.
the gloves. She's got her own little box of hand wraps and stuff.
That's so cool, man. Well, awesome. Well, it sounds like she's doing better, so I'm like really happy to hear that. So, okay, so the other thing I was going to ask you about, I saw that you're starting to interview people for the Knuckletown rankings. Like, is that something? Was that a one-off thing, or is that like a new gig for you?
Yeah, so Matt's a buddy of mine. He's been a friend for quite a while. Um, just randomly reached out, and honestly, I was hesitant at first because I'd never done it before.
Yeah,
But again, going back to, you know, trying to get comfortable where I'm uncomfortable, I was like, hey, let's do it, you know? And at that point, once I decided to do it, I was actually excited. I was like,
cool.
oh,
Well, Knuckletown's actually part of the Reddit. Like, he comes in and he posts like his links and stuff like that, and talks to some of the people. So we like him too. So
awesome. I didn't know that yet.
yeah. Okay, so I mean, December. So I did have one question. Russ at Extreme wants to know when he's going to see you pro.
Man, um, I'm hoping after this fight, I've made a lot of improvements, bro. I've lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
Um, it's tough because I'm a dad. I've got a family, so I have to have a job.
Mhm.
Um, Time in the gym, I get a lot of it, but I don't feel like yet that I get enough of it.
Okay.
Um, I am going to start looking for pro fights after this fight. And the incentive for that is, of course, a pro fight is paid. So then
Sure.
I'll take that time off of work and everything. But until I know I can secure a pro fight, um, I have to chill, do my dad thing. But I'd like to do it after this BKFC fight. And that's also, I want to gauge my own performance
Sure.
in this. My last prospect fight, I feel like I could have done better. I know I could have done better because the way I spar in the gym and stuff,
Yeah.
it's better than what I did in that ring. But it was really hard to shake, and I don't want to call it adrenaline dump. It was more like a proud moment. Like I was too overjoyed.
Right.
Fan of BKFC, bro. I was sitting back and watching the lights and the stage and how it
Sure.
lights everything, and that's mesmerizing in its own.
Hmm.
I love when the lights turn yellow, that gold. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, beautiful. So once I was in that ring, bro, and I looked down where everybody steps their toe to that line, bro, is I got like high.
Yeah.
Like I was stoned and overjoyed and like I couldn't even concentrate, bro. And all 3 rounds, bro, I stepped to that line and it like came right back. I was like, oh my God, I'm here. Because I did set this as a mission for myself. BKFC was a mission for me, bro. I had a buddy, actually, Abby Velasquez, if you know who that is.
I don't.
He worked with me and he showed me what BKFC was. And as a street fighter, I was like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Okay, so I guess my official last question. You said you lost over 100 pounds. You want to run us through how that went? Like that seems phenomenal.
Yeah, so like I said, with my daughter, she was having surgery since the moment she was born. So we'd off and on, and mostly on, stay in the hospital, which is over an hour away from my house. So I just lived in the hospital with her and watching over my kid. All there is to do is sit, watch her. Every time I get hungry, I'm gonna go get food, get a lot of food because I'm gonna be
Yeah.
sitting there for a while. Come back, sit down, and stressed out a lot,
Sure.
eat a lot, and just sit there. And I'm a person, I like to run and stuff, but I didn't get up and leave that room, so it was
Yeah.
easy to get a ton of weight, man. Um, it was a lot of fun though, shaking it off.
So was it legit just training and running? Like there was no like gastric bypass or anything, or it was just like hard work?
Just I've been with Smith Brothers now, Jackson Wink Smith Brothers, Kevin Smith. I've been with him for 2 years.
Okay.
Even some of that time, he let me stay in the gym. I'd stay inside the gym for like 2 weeks, and just train so hard, man. Like when I was first going out, I was going ham.
Yeah.
Used to have a strength and conditioning class. We haven't done it lately. We had a strength and conditioning class in the morning that would probably burn 2,000 calories easy.
Okay.
So shout out to my gym, Jackson Wing Smith Brothers and Kevin Smith, because I wouldn't be here in the shape that I am now, probably with the mentality that I have now, without him and the gym, for sure.
Well, we look forward to watching you fight in the ring. So if people wanted to follow you, is Instagram the best, or are you Facebook or X? Like where at?
Instagram and Facebook is all I have. Very personal with all of it, so anybody can hit me up. I guess I've become something like an icon, man. People have been reaching out to me, and it's motivating as crap, man. And I'm amazed. I'm overjoyed just to have you guys as family, man. BKFC family is awesome, dude.
Cool. All right. Well, great. Best of luck, and we hope you get a win, and then we can't wait to see you make your pro debut.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, sir.